Hi there, this is David, and welcome to New RPG News. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today because it is Summer Game Fest and tons of announcements have been dropping. I am not going to spend this video going back over all the other stuff that I've talked about in previous videos, but I am going to recap a couple of things here and there just in case you did miss them, but it's not going to be as extensive as the previous video. So if you want to know everything that's going on, go back and watch my last couple of videos that I have released in regards to Persona and the Final Fantasy leaks, the Final Fantasy 9, Tactics 10 leaks, the games that I liked at the Game Fest, all that kind of stuff. But first up, I do want to talk about this, the Final Fantasy X remake that I talked about yesterday. Yeah, we have an article on it now, so it is here. It says the insider who previously leaked Persona 3 in the Final Fantasy 9 remakes has also now claimed that a Final Fantasy X remake is in the works. The user is on Reset Era, and they're called I Am a Hero 2. They have dropped a release date window of 2026, which would coincide with the game's 25th anniversary as well. He has so many accurate leaks in the past. I am normally not one to trust a leak, but this is a leak that I do trust. This is a leaker that I also do trust as well. According to the moderators over in Reset Era, I'm a Hero 2 worked, or still does work, in the gaming industry, and they previously worked for Sega, where they were kind of mistreated. After dropping this particular leak, though, they ended up deleting their account and scrubbing their post history. So my guess is that maybe this leaker was caught. So or maybe he was almost caught and he's like, oh my god, I don't want to get caught. And he went ahead and deleted that stuff. But yeah, look forward to a Final Fantasy X remake. Not remaster, we already got a remaster, a remake. Next up, we have a Persona 3 remake and a Persona 5 Tactics. Announcement trailers have both been leaked by Atlas West. I made a full video on this, but just in case you didn't see it, yeah, they're coming out. Persona 3 Reload and Persona 5 Tactica. So yeah, these are going to be announced tomorrow at the Xbox Games Show. They were accidentally uploaded early to the company's Instagram account, and this again ties back to I Am a Hero and his leaks, because he leaked these, and now here they are, you know? Leak and they will come, I suppose. And the last kind of recap story before we get into the rest of the new news is that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will launch for the PS5 in early 2024. It was previously announced just for winter, but now it's going to be coming out after Christmas in January or February or something like that. It's going to be coming out on 2 separate discs, though. So this is going to be a huge, enormous game. I can't wait for it. One thing that I was kind of confused about, 2 discs doesn't necessarily mean you insert disc 1 and then later on you'll insert disc 2, kind of like how 2-disc games used to be on the PS1. Instead, it probably more than likely means that the first disc is going to be kind of an install disc, and then the second disc is going to be the gameplay disc. So yeah, kind of a different world that we're living in now. And it's only been 20 years. Imagine how I feel at 41 freaking years. This here is just cool. Final Fantasy IX Memoria Project. This is a 25-minute, it's called a gameplay demo, even though it's not a game. Basically, this is just a video based upon the opening of Final Fantasy IX. It says in big bold letters that they don't want to infringe on copyright, anything like that. It says it's a fan-made proof of concept that will not ever be released as a playable product. It's just kind of just a gorgeous thing, just like a passion project. And the, I guess, gameplay demo, it's 25 minutes long, so if you want to watch it in its entirety, please do so and support these people, because this is freaking cool! And hopefully the actual remake of Final Fantasy IX that we do get takes some inspiration from this, or, you know, maybe even hires these guys to work on it, because they know what they're doing. This is cool. You know, like Mario Maker and RPG Maker, we've had those products for a while now, but what about like a Zelda Maker? That's kind of what this is called. This is a retro dungeon maker called Questmaster, coming out for the Switch as well as the PC, due at an early access of Q3 of this year. Basically, like, you're able to go out and craft and design like old school Zelda type dungeons and worlds. This has so many implications insofar as maybe if you can like take an RPG Maker engine and also take this engine and kind of meld them together and create like some really freaking cool action RPGs over on Steam in a couple of years. Like, this is just amazing. I can't get enough of this looking at the trailer above me. Like, it's just so freaking cool. I cannot wait for this. Turntides is launching in September. We have some brand new gameplay footage here. It's coming out for the PS5, PS4, and PC over in September. And it says that it's a dating action game, blending a love story with adrenaline-driven combat as you make the most out of life during the apocalypse. You scavenge and survive for supplies, explore dungeons, and go on dates, because that's what you do during the apocalypse. I was reading through all the key features here, and it's basically saying that, you know, it's post-apocalyptic world. There's 5 little girly friends that you can kind of date and romance. One thing that kind of got me, though, was this. It's called Race Against the Clock. You can scavenge, dungeon crawl, date. There's too many things to do one day, and each area has a deadline. Will you go closer to your confidant in order to deepen your relationship and unlock new skills? Will you scavenge the wasteland for supplies? Will you grow stronger by training with your companions? Or will you ignore all of that and go into the dungeons the first chance that you get? It's up to you, but remember, the clock is ticking. Yeah, not really a fan of timing in my RPGs. I kind of like to go at my own pace, but hey, as long as I do it correctly, it shouldn't be that bad. And I have talked to some of my friends on YouTube who have played this game so far, and they all say it's pretty cool. They actually really like it, so do look forward to this one. We have a first look trailer at a turn-based RPG called Beastie Ball, which is coming out in 2024 for the PC. They already have a price for it. It's $25, and here's the overview from the Steam page. It says, coach a sports team of beasties in this turn-based volleyball RPG. That's a new one. Their teamwork's powered up by the relationships that they form together. So this is, you know, again, one of those talking, bonding, dating sort of games. And then, you know, you get into your turn-based volleyball type combat. Explore an open world and meet a diverse cast of ranked coaches, each with their own story. You have to defeat them and raise your ranking if you want to compete in the Crown series. The bosses are going to be revealed in your map from the start, and they can all be defeated in any order, which is kind of nice. But with each one that you defeat, the others do become stronger. So even though you can beat them in any order that you want to, there will still always be a challenge. It says play sports and strategic turn-based encounters on a tiny tactical grid. When you have the ball, you have multiple actions to pass and set up for a devastating attack. When the other team has the ball, you have to anticipate their attack and make a defensive play. So that's kind of cool, actually. It's just unique. It reminds me of like those Camelot games, those like Mario sports games and stuff. It just looks different. It looks unique. I saw this and I figured, it's turn-based. What the hell? I'll bring it up on the news show. Chained Echoes has an update. Now it's version 1.2, which is adding a new game plus and tweaks to the crystal crafting system. Honestly, the crystal crafting system, whenever I played the game, I pretty much completely 100% ignored it because I couldn't be bothered with it. It was a great game, but man, they just need to drop the crafting. I hate crafting. I hate it. 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 Every single time that crafting enters any single frickin' game, it just ruins it. It ruins it entirely. I cannot stand it. But every single person just feels like they have to put crafting in all their games constantly, and it drives me nuts. I don't know why I just started like getting on my soapbox and ranting about that, but like seriously, for real, quit with the freaking crafting. It ruins your games. Quit it, quit it, quit it. Oh, I can stand it. Anyway, the entire thing is all about the changes to the crafting system because the crafting system is crap. It's crappy crafting, and I hate freaking crafting. Arrgh! If you haven't played Chained Echoes yet, make sure that you play it because it really is a good game, but just do what I did and just ignore the crafting system in its entirety. Like, my God. I'm sure it's better now with this update because it can't possibly be any worse. Just get rid of, just please, for the love of God, RPG developers, Get rid of crafting, please! I just want to open up a treasure chest and get a new piece of equipment. That's what I want. I want to go inside of a tower of fire and get a flame sword. I don't want to have to get a piece of metal, and then a little fiery thingamajigger, and then a thing of oil, and then go to a little crafting crappy camp place and spend a year and a day crafting up my flame sword. I just want the flame sword! Is it really that hard? Octopath Traveler 2 just surpassed 1 million sales units, which is great news. It had a rocky start to begin with, only selling about 80,000 or so units within its first week, and people are kind of like worried about that, you know? But now, 1 million! And it seems like 1 million is kind of their goalpost. That's where they want to be for most of their titles. That's like kind of their number that they're looking at, because if you recall, they were blackmailing us not that long ago saying, hey, you know what, we might maybe sort of somehow kind of bring up the possibility of a sequel to Live Alive if we hit 1 million sales. They had about 500,000 at the time. But now they hit 1 million for Octopath, and honestly, if you look at Live Alive and then you look at Octopath, they're kind of similar, except that, you know, Live Alive is dog shit. But as far as like the concepts, like it's still kind of the same concepts are both there. It's almost like Octopath is a spiritual successor of Live Alive. So people are like, ugh, Live Alive, gross. But they're like, Octopath, yeah, let's do it. So here's hoping to more turn-based RPGs, more HD 2D games, more traditional RPGs, and an Octopath Traveler 3. Final Fantasy XVI's endgame activities include a new Game Plus mode, as well as a new difficulty mode, and its most difficult challenges from the Chronolith Trials and Ultimaniac modes. So that's pretty neat, I've gotta say. The hardest difficulty setting is now called Final Fantasy mode, which is just great. I love it. It's like, hey, we know that our new modern games are super easy, so let's have an NES throwback. Let's go back to NES difficulty here. I just think that's kind of funny. You'll be able to bring over all your abilities and gear from your first playthrough like most new Game Plus modes, and then this new difficulty setting will also change up monster placement, so you'll see them showing up at different parts of the game that will keep you on your toes. So basically what they're saying is that the design philosophy is that for the first playthrough, you're really there to learn the controls, learn about Clive, enjoy the story, but the second playthrough, you already know all that stuff, so they're going to shift the focus over to the action. So I think that that's a pretty neat idea. Then, if you are already done doing that mode, after the game is over, you can go into the Chronolith Trials and the Ultimaniac modes as well. It says that these are the most difficult challenges in the game, and you'll have to make it through multiple stages that feature 4 waves of enemies that will each be harder than the last, and the final round will pit a terrifying boss against the player. If that wasn't enough, these trials are timed, and will see players attempting to earn more time by performing certain moves and combos and completing objectives. Oh, and there's no healing in these trials besides the healing that comes from activating a limit break. And then each of the Chronolith trials will be based upon one of the different icons. So they're just kind of cool. Then it says that there's an arcade mode that will get a difficulty bump in the New Game Plus's Final Fantasy mode. The arcade mode allows for you to replay the previous stages within like an on-screen points calculator and combat grader. So it's just different. They have different modes and stuff. It seems pretty neat. I myself don't really like the challenges, so I'll probably be passing on those challenges right there, but I do want to enjoy the game itself. Apparently, Square Enix is panicking because Final Fantasy XVI's pre-orders, their number is below Final Fantasy XV's pre-orders. And this is even after they account that it is a PS5 exclusive. They're reportedly panicking over them. But I don't think that there's anything to panic about myself. I mean, yeah, Final Fantasy XVI wasn't exactly the best thing ever, but people know that Final Fantasy, for the most part, is always a quality experience. They're familiar with the game. They know about Final Fantasy VII and the remakes and all that other kind of stuff, so they know about it. I think that people are just kind of over pre-ordering stuff. They're overspending money when they don't have to spend money. Or at least at that time, you need to save up for it. We're in a cost of living crisis, Not everybody has 60, 70 bucks to go put on a pre-order if you're trying to, put food on your table or pay your rent, that sort of thing. Another thing is that there's the rise of digital gaming as well. I personally like physical, and I know a lot of y'all out there too, but I also know that a lot of people like digital. And if I'm going to buy a digital game, why would I pre-order it? What's the purpose of pre-ordering a digital game? It makes zero sense to me. So I think that that's really what it is. It's like, if you want it physically, then you'll pre-order it, But otherwise, if you're getting it digital, just buy it whenever it drops. I think that this is kind of a weird story that's been going around, because it's just kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, you could figure out why this is, And our last story of the day, we're closing out with another rumor. Universal's closing a big deal with Nintendo for a Zelda Illumination movie. We already know that the Super Mario Bros. Movie was a massive box office smash, so it just, totally makes sense. Okay, well, if Mario was a hit, let's do Zelda, duh. So this is according to film critic Jeff Snyder, that they're in the final stages of closing this big deal, and I'm going to just read his quote. It says, "I don't think that what I'm about to say is a huge surprise. I'm told that Universal is in fact closing a big deal with Nintendo Corporation for The Legend of Zelda. Zelda's looking like the next big Illumination Nintendo franchise, which again, I think we were all sort of expecting. But yeah, I'm told that it's happening and it's going to cost Universal a pretty penny because of the success of Super Mario. Nintendo kind of knows that it's worth it at this point, but yeah, I am told that this is going to be a reality." I saw the Mario movie, and I really liked it. Ken saw it, and he's not a gamer at all in the slightest, and he really liked it too. So I think that a Zelda movie is just kind of like a no-brainer. I would love to see more movies in the different Nintendo franchises or something. I think that would be so freaking cool. I would love that. So that's it for this week's news. I know that there's a lot, and there's going to be a lot more leaks and rumors and announcements and all sorts of other stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks during Game Fest, and I'm going to be here on top of those big announcements, as well as an end of the week wrap-up newscast as usual. Hope you guys enjoy it. Stick around. Let me know what you're most excited about, and as always, have a good day.